Hello and welcome. You are listening to the Happya Life Podcast. I'm your host, Clare Deacon. After deciding survival wasn't enough, I set out on a path to live my best life. I wanted to thrive. Now I'm on a mission to support others. Think you're not good enough, confident enough, brave enough? I'm here to tell you you are, and you can achieve anything. This is your time, so let's do this. Hello and welcome to the Happya Life Podcast, where we talk about life beyond survival, because let's be real, just getting by is not what we're here for. I'm Claire, your host, positive psychology coach, and a person who's been exactly where you are if you've ever thought, I just don't trust myself anymore. Have you ever second guessed every decision you make? Found yourself looking to other people for answers, doubting your own instincts, and generally worrying that you'll just get it wrong again? Maybe you've ignored your gut feelings in the past and ended up hurt. So now you hesitate. Maybe you've made choices that didn't work out, and now self-doubt is running the show. If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. But here's what I want you to know. You can trust yourself again. You can rebuild self-trust, even if it feels impossible right now. Today, we're going to be talking about what happens when self-trust is broken, why it's so hard to get it back, and most importantly, how you can start listening to yourself again with confidence. And if at any point you're thinking, I need more help with this, I've got you. So you can book a free discovery call with me. Or if talking feels like too much, then drop me an email and I will come back to you with how I can support you. All right. Okay. So let's get into the topic. Why do we stop trusting ourselves? Self-trust isn't something we're born lacking. It's something that gets eroded over time. And often we don't even realize it's happening until we're stuck in constant self-doubt. So where does it come from? For a lot of people, it starts in childhood. If you grew up being told that your feelings were too much or wrong, you may have learned to suppress them. If you were criticized for your choices, you may have started believing that you couldn't make good ones. If you were constantly given advice but never encouraged to engage and trust your own judgment, then second guessing yourself probably became second nature. Then, of course, there are the experiences that happen later, times when we did trust ourselves, but maybe things didn't go quite as planned. Maybe you followed your intuition in a relationship, a career move, or a big life decision, and it didn't work out. Maybe you were gaslit or manipulated, and now you don't know whether to trust your perception of reality. Maybe you made what felt like the right decision at the time, only to be met with pain, failure, or regret. And when that happens enough times, the message our brain receives is, I clearly don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm talking about, and I should probably just listen to other people instead. The problem, the more that we ignore our inner voice, the harder it becomes to hear. And soon we don't even know what we want because we've been outsourcing our decisions to other people, overthinking everything, and just generally doubting ourselves at every turn. So one of the examples and the reason for actually why my book is called Blooming Happier is because I find this, that you as the individual, you get covered in these layers, and and they hide who you really are as an individual. And you no longer know what you want. It comes about, well, the children need this, my partner needs that, work demands this of me, or other people who are in your network who ask and demand things of you. And that voice is hidden under all of these layers. So the blooming happier process is about peeling back those layers, and demonstrating, taking them off, understanding where they are so that you can actually bloom and blossom and find and uncover who you are. So if that's you, if you feel like right now your voice has gotten smaller, or you're not even sure what that voice has is telling you anymore, I want you just to pause and take a deep breath, because this isn't the end of your story. It isn't that it's gone away and it's all gone. Self-trust is something that can be rebuilt. So, how do you do that? How do you rebuild self-trust? If you've spent years doubting yourself, it's not realistic to wake up one day and magically feel confident in your choices. And this is where I have a bit of a dislike for some of the mindset pieces that we see on social media, that if you chant an affirmation, that it's going to suddenly mean that you are able to know who you are and bound into your day. It's an unrealistic expectation, and it does nothing but put additional pressure on you. And when inevitably you fail at that being successful, you perceive that it's you and that you're the problem. And that's not the case. Self-trust, like all of the other elements of your mental health and your well-being, is like a muscle. It needs time, it needs consistency, and it needs that practice in order to grow stronger. So here's how you start. So firstly, we start with small decisions. If trusting yourself feels terrifying, don't start with the big life altering choices. Start with the tiny ones. What do you want for dinner? What book do you feel like reading? What do you want to watch on the television? Where do you want to spend your time, your weekends? Ask yourself, what do you think about different situations before you ask someone else? And when you make a decision, any decision, and follow through, you send a signal to your brain that says, I can trust myself to choose. And those small decisions all add up. So, next, it's about recognizing when you are outsourcing your power. So, do you immediately ask others for advice before even considering your own opinion? Some of us can get stuck in looking for permission from others that the decision that you're making is the right one and that you can proceed on that basis, but you don't need to ask for that permission. You don't need to have that permission before you make those choices and those decisions to move forward. It's something which I can sometimes see with clients, that they can bring situations to me, and because we've built that trust and we've worked forward about bringing it to me and saying, what should I do here? And it's at that point where we need to actually pass that back to you, to give you the reassurance that this is your choice and your life, and I can support you by looking at what you have communicated in the past to me, that what you're looking at the alignment with the values and what you have said and how it all aligns. So providing that reflection piece back, that mirror for you to look in. But it's really about you having your own opinion. So do you second guess your feelings because you're afraid of being wrong? Do you constantly check for reassurance before making a move? If so, if that's something that you've experienced, start by pausing before seeking outside input. The next time you have to make a decision, sit with it first, write down what you think, trust that your opinion is valid, even if it's different from what others may say. So the next one is reconnecting with your inner voice, your gut instincts, your intuition, your knowing, because it's still there. It's just been buried under years of doubt and external noise, other people's opinions, judgment, experience, social expectations. So one of the ways you can start hearing it again is to create space for quiet reflection. So journaling is an ideal tool for this type of work that you're doing. Meditation or even just sitting in silence only needs to be for a few minutes each day, but it can help you start to tune in to your own thoughts and your own feelings. So ask yourself, what do I truly want? What feels right for me? And the important thing is, most of all here, is to listen to the response that that inner voice is given. Then the next piece of advice is to really learn from past mistakes and to do that, most importantly, without shame. So, one of the biggest barriers to self trust is fear of getting it wrong again. But here's the thing, trusting yourself doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes. It means knowing that even if you do, you can handle it. Instead of beating yourself up for past decisions, look at them with curiosity. What did I learn? What would I do differently now? Why was it that I made the decision that I did? So, growth comes from that reflection. It doesn't come from shaming yourself. Okay. So, the next way to rebuild that self trust is to keep promises to yourself. So when you constantly break promises to yourself, whether it's something big like leaving a toxic job or something small like drinking more water, it reinforces the belief that you can't trust yourself and potentially that you're not worthy of to making those decisions, of allowing yourself to have your needs met. So start small, make a commitment and follow through with it and prove to yourself that your word matters and that you have enough worth in yourself for you to take that time and to have that focus and rebuild that self-trust. So there's quite a lot in there. So you may want to listen back to what I've gone through in each of those steps. Pick which really seems to resonate with you first of all, that you think that you can gain some wins. Learning to trust yourself again does take time, but I promise you it is worth it, because when you start to trust yourself again, everything changes. Decisions become easier, self-doubt quietens down, and most importantly, you start feeling like you again. It boosts your self-worth and your general well-being. So here's my challenge to you. I want you to pick one small way to trust yourself today. Doesn't have to be something life-changing, just one tiny act of self-trust. Choose what you want for lunch. Say no to something that doesn't feel right. Listen to your gut before asking for advice. Every little moment, whatever it is, adds up. And if you need support with this, let's talk. Book a discovery call with me or send me an email and we can connect on what resources would suit you best for your needs. And if this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need it too. Leave me feedback. And you never know who is struggling with self-doubt in silence. So the more we share these things, the more access we can give to people who really need to hear these messages. So until next time, be kind to yourself. You are learning, you are growing, and you can trust yourself again. If you've enjoyed this episode, ensure you hit subscribe, head on over to my website, happiercoach.com, sign up for the weekly newsletter, and let me support you in living a happier life. I'm your host, Clare Deacon. Thank you for listening. Have a fabulous day.